Hello, this is Sarah Braasch. Welcome back to my channel. So I want to do a video about how Professor Imani Perry of Princeton is a lying bigot and a fraud. So I just did a video where I talked about how I was grossly defamed in a law journal article from UC Hastings Law School written by T. Anansi Wilson, and that this law journal article about me was basically a death threat and an attempt to drive me to suicide because I am the proof that woke intersectional feminism and critical race theory is bigotry, utter bigotry, and stupidity. So now the first person listed as an advisor for this disgusting article about me written by T. Anansi Wilson, a new addition to the faculty of UC Hastings Law School. And so I worked with Professor Imani Perry of Princeton at Yale on an explicitly anti-racism conference, the Ideology Conference, with my advisor Jason Stanley of Yale. So Professor Imani Perry of Princeton 100% knows that I'm the entirely innocent victim of the Living or Napping While Black hate crime hoax at Yale. She 100% knows that I'm an entirely innocent anti-racism Yale graduate student. She 100% knows that everything written in her protege, T. Anansi Wilson's disgusting law journal article about me, published by UC Hastings Law School, was an egregious lie, meant to get me killed, meant to drive me to suicide, meant to incite my murder. I can only interpret her participation in this disgusting defamation against me as an act of vengeance. I think that they just want me dead. I think she wants me dead. I think Professor Imani Perry of Princeton wants me dead because her career, her livelihood, her ideology depends upon me actually being the genocidal villain who lynches black students at Yale via the Yale campus police, that she and all other woke intersectional feminists and critical race theorists claimed I was. So I wrote an email to Chancellor and Dean of the UC Hastings Law School, David Fagman, and I also wrote an email to the Vice President of Princeton, Hillary Parker, asking her to please help me save my life, to please help me save my lifelong and well-documented human and civil rights academic and legal careers, and to please ask Professor Imani Perry of Princeton to ask UC Hastings Law School to retract this disgusting article about me that is nothing but lies, egregious, disgusting lies, meant to get me killed, meant to incite my murder, meant to drive me to suicide. It has been over 2.5 years since the Living or Napping While Black hate crime hoax at Yale, and at this point, there's zero excuse for defaming me. None. There never was any excuse for defaming me, and certainly Professor Imani Perry of Princeton had no excuse ever for defaming me. She 100% knows that everything in T. Anansi Wilson's disgusting law journal article about me is a lie. She knows I'm innocent. She knows me. She worked with me. We worked together on an explicitly anti-racism conference at Yale with my advisor, Jason Stanley. She knows that I am Jason Stanley's student. So now when I discovered this was published, this disgusting law journal article was published recently, very recently. And when I discovered it, I immediately contacted Professor Imani Perry of Princeton over Twitter and asked her to ask for a retraction. And she pretended like she didn't know who I was. And when I said, oh yeah, you do, you know who I am, and you're a lying bigot and a fraud, and she blocked me. So she clearly knows that she's been exposed as a liar, as a lying bigot, as a fraud. And I'm going to continue to expose her. And I want to make very clear that everyone should regard the entirety of Professor Imani Perry of Princeton's scholarship as wholly discredited, as a living while black race hoax. And including her recent book, Breathe, her book, Breathe, should be considered a living while black race hoax. It should be considered wholly discredited. She is completely discredited. And the entirety of her scholarship is a living while black race hoax. She is a lying bigot and a fraud, and I want to make that very clear. Okay, I don't want this video to get too long, so I'm going to wrap up. But I have my PayPal me and GoFundMe links below. Please donate to my legal fund. I have my fundraising link so you can donate directly to my awesome attorneys. The Randazza Legal Group puts Sarah Braasch in the reference line. Please donate to my legal fund because I would love to sue UC Hastings Law School. I would love to sue Princeton. I would love to sue Professor Imani Perry of Princeton. I would love to sue Professor Tia Nancy Wilson of UC Hastings Law School, okay? We cannot allow them. There is now a Get Sarah Braasch Killed moral outrage industry, particularly within law schools in the US. And we have to put a stop to it. They're trying to get me killed because they want me dead because I am the proof that woke intersectional feminism and critical race theory are utter bigotry and stupidity. And I'm particularly a threat to anyone who has actually worked with me, including Professor Imani Perry of Princeton. So please donate. I love you all so much. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon.